So how do you even buy a house? My name is Victor Pham, realtor in Cincinnati, Ohio, and in this video, I'm going to answer that question and many more related to that question. We're going to go over in detail the entire home buying process, step by step, on how to buy a house in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's get into it. If you're new to this channel, my name is Victor Pham. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Pinnacle Group here in the greater Cincinnati area. Cincinnati is a very rapidly and growing and expanding place. If you're thinking about moving to Cincinnati or maybe buying or selling a house that you own in the Cincinnati area already, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Always here to help. Shoot me a text, call me, email, whatever works for you. I got you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay updated on all the latest videos about Cincinnati. Also, please leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts about this video. Okay, so buying a house in Cincinnati, or buying a house anywhere for that matter, can be stressful, especially with the way the market has been the last couple years. But buying a house can also be a very educational and fun experience, especially when you get those keys in your hand. I love seeing the looks on my buyers' faces once we close and they get those keys. It's an amazing feeling for everybody. So we're going to go over in detail the 8 steps to home ownership in Cincinnati. That way you understand exactly what to be prepared for once you decide to make your move and start the process. All right, so number 1 is the pre-approval process. Number 2 is the consultation. Number 3 is shopping for your home. Number 4 is making the offer. Number 5, inspection and appraisal. Number 6, preparing for the move. Number 7 is the actual closing. And number 8 is moving in. So I'm going to break them down one at a time. Let's start with number 1, the pre-approval process. This is the initial thing you want to do once you decide you're ready to buy a house. All right, this is what's going to determine how much house you're approved to purchase. So what happens is, if you connect with me, I connect you to some of my local lenders that I use for my clients. I always recommend my lenders to my buyers. Of course, you as the consumer have the right to use whatever lender you want. That's your choice. You don't have to use your realtor's lenders. But there's big reasons why I always recommend my lenders. They're local, so they understand the market. They're going to do everything they can to get you the house that you want. You can reach them after office hours and on the weekends. My lenders are dedicated and responsive, which is exactly what you want in a lender. Trust me, I've seen it plenty of times, guys. If you get a bad, unresponsive lender, it may not end so well. And buying a house in this market is very time sensitive. So we ain't got time to play around.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But the initial pre-approval process is what's going to let me know your budget, so I know exactly what you can afford before we jump out here and start looking at houses. And if it turns out you can't get pre-approved at the time that you apply, no worries. Myself and my lenders will coach you on the fastest ways to get in a position to get approved. A lot of times we found that it's just a few critical actions that you need to take to get you from denied to approved in just a few months. But assuming you get the pre-approval, we move on to number 2, the consultation. This is where I will basically just have a conversation with you, sometimes in person, usually over the phone, and we'll just gauge what it is exactly that you want in a home. At this point, we already know what you can afford, but I like to understand my clients' needs and create a connection with them. That way I know what they like and I can direct them only to the houses that I know will fit what they want. And whatever that is, it could be a house with a pool, could be a 2-car garage. Maybe you want to be in a certain school district or close to your job. You want X amount of bedrooms, X amount of bathrooms, big backyard, whatever it is. The consultation is where I connect with you and learn more about who you are and what you want. Because in the end, you're buying this house, not me. So we need to make sure you get exactly what you want or something pretty dang on close. After the consultation is number 3. We get out here and we start shopping for your home, right? Seeing the houses in person. Now, I know it's 2022, everything's online, I get it. Trust me, I know I'm a social media advocate. Probably 80% of what I do as a realtor is online or some form of social media. But seeing the houses in pictures or videos versus seeing them in person is a completely different experience. With the craziness of this market, I've had buyers make offers and buy houses without even seeing the house first. I get it, I got you either way, but seeing the house in person allows you to feel out that house, right? You can imagine your couch or TV going in a certain spot. You can visualize what those rooms will look like once you move into the house. That vision has to be right for you. But we look at the house or houses until we find what you want, then we move on to step 4, which is making the offer. Now, once we find a house you like, we're going to go ahead and write the offer on it. This is where I take something called a purchase contract and I write the offer the way you want me to write it. Some of the most important parts of that contract will include the purchase price, which is the amount you're willing to pay for the house, the earnest money deposit, which basically shows the seller that you are a serious buyer. you always want to put some kind of deposit down. That deposit amount will depend on your comfort level. Also, another important part of that contract is the closing date, which is telling the seller, hey, this is how soon we can close. In this market, 30 days is typical when you're using a lender. Like I said, my lenders are awesome. Sometimes we can close in 25 days. Sometimes delays happen and it may be 35 days, but 30 days is typically the standard from getting the offer accepted all the way to the closing table. Now, once you get your offer accepted, you'll be officially under contract, and we move on to number 5, which is the inspection and appraisal process. So there is a difference between inspection and appraisal if you don't know, and it's very simple. An inspection is done by you, the buyer, and it's completely optional, not mandatory. However, I always recommend getting that inspection because you never know what might come up down the road with the house. I get a lot of buyers who are okay with waiving their inspection in order to win the house and make their offer more competitive, and that's completely fine. Just know that me personally, as your realtor representing your best interest, I ain't gonna pressure you to do nothing, especially waive an inspection. You know why? Because I'm not gonna do it. I would never buy a personal residence for myself without getting it inspected first. But that's just me. As your realtor, I got you on whatever decision you think is best for you. But the inspection is optional and done by the buyer, and this will let you know if there's anything wrong with the house that may cause you to want to back out of the deal. The appraisal, however, is not optional if you're using a lender. The lender will send an appraiser to evaluate the home, and they will do somewhat of an inspection. I know that FHA appraisers do pay attention to more of the safety issues, but more so the appraisal is concerned with the value of the home. That appraiser reports back to the lender and tells the lender, hey, this is what the house is worth. And as long as it's valued at the purchase price you offered or more, you're good. Lender shouldn't give you any problems. But that appraisal is done to protect the lender. They have to be sure that the house meets the value that they are going to let you borrow. So appraisal, not optional. All right, number 6 is preparing for the move. So if we've made it this far, you're starting to prepare for the move. You're making your arrangements, scheduling days off work, or whatever you have to do to get ready for that move. You're really close to the closing date at this point, so just try to coordinate the move in a way that's going to allow you to transition smoothly from where you are to the new house. Number 7 is the closing. Now, prior to the closing date, the lender will connect with you, the title company will get with you, and you'll get something called a closing statement. And that statement will tell you all the costs of your home purchase in detail. It's going to show you exactly how much money you have to bring on closing day in order to complete the purchase. Everything is calculated and you'll know the exact amount before you get there. All right, so you bring the money, you'll sign a stack of papers about this big, collect your keys, and that's it. You're a homeowner.
Yay!
And that puts us at number 8, the move-in, or what I like to call the celebration, right? You made it through that journey and the house is yours. Time to move in, party, do whatever you want as a homeowner. So there's a lot of different pieces to a real estate transaction. I hope that helps you understand the process. If you have a good realtor like me, I do everything in my power to make it as stress-free as possible. And in fact, I try to actually make it fun. So like I said, if you're looking to relocate to Cincinnati or buy a house here or sell a house here that you already have in the Cincinnati area, please reach out to me. I'm very responsive to texts and calls. You can also email me if that's better. Send me a message on one of the social media apps, whatever works. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a like and a comment and let me know your thoughts on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay updated on more videos about Cincinnati. Take care. See you next time.